Hello everyone, this is Sunniva.
And this is Johannes.
And you're watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a brief look at Peninsula. This is a new small and right game from Karma Games, who recently had some games on Kickstarter. They have Fiefdom, Millennia, and the biggest one, Clans Caledonia Industria. Expansion to a fantastic game. And now we're going to talk about Peninsula, which is going to be available in the Pledge Manager. In the beginning, it's only going to be available in the Pledge Manager. So if you backed one of the other games, you might be able to get that there. It's going to be €9. And the plan is to also have it in the Karma Games web shop and maybe retail later, but we don't know any specifics about that. With that out of the way, let's talk about this game. This is a draft and write. We're going to have this little map, and this glass bead is going to be you. That's you. Does it look like you? It doesn't, but it is you. And you are going to be drafting cards. So let's say I want to draft this card. It's my turn to draft. I will draft this card. I will then choose to either draw the tree, or I will flip this and draw the boat. And depending on which thing I choose, the other players get to do the other thing. So if I choose the boat, everybody else gets to draw the tree. And then I have to draw it somewhere. So let's do the boat. I have to draw it somewhere adjacent to me. I'm going to draw it over here, for example. I draw a little ship and I draw a little arrow. The arrows I can use to move later, because in this game, as you can only draw adjacent to yourself, you need to move around as well. And you have some movement in the beginning. You can use, instead of drawing something, you can do one movement. And if you have these arrows, you can move over them for free. So you're trying to basically build a little infrastructure to try to be the best version of yourself in this peninsula. What do you think about this drafting mechanism?
I think it's neat. I think it's always a interesting choice between what do I want to draw and what is the best for the other people to be drawing. And I like that if there's something that the other player choose that I don't need, I can use it to move instead.
Yeah, and I really enjoy two things about it. Both that it adds some interaction, because it's not just a die. I basically choose also like what you get to do.
Yeah.
So sometimes like, oh, I want this, but let's say I want this wall, but it's like, it's really good for you to get that forest. Do I want to deny you that forest? And you know exactly how many times each symbol is going to be in the game. There's 10 of each symbol, but you're going to draw 5 cards at the beginning of the game that are out of the game.
Yeah.
So you can count. You don't know when they come, but you know they're gonna come. But let's say I need to build a tree up here, and now I move down here. It's going to be hard to me. Oh, now the tree arrives, so it's not like you have perfect information. So you kind of need to take the opportunities when they come. And there's a lot of variability in this game, because you're going to have these 6 ports where you get these, and there's a huge pile of these different abilities.
Yeah, and they all have their overview over here. So in the beginning, it's a little overwhelming with all the different abilities, but you know them from the beginning of the games. You might be like, oh, these down here, those are really good. I'm trying to position myself near them so I can utilize them. And this one up here, the hammer, yeah, I don't care about that. It's fine. So you can try to see what you want to do from the start of the game.
You also have missions, which are also a bunch of these different missions that you can play with. And all of them are basically different patterns that you need to fulfill with a symbol, which is like these different symbols. And you can only use one each, which adds to the variability. But also the first time we played, my brain kind of exploded, because you're going to try to unlock this. You're going to try to do these patterns. It's a very small thing. These are very simple, but when you get more of them, like you need to have one there, and there, and not the symbol in the middle. So you cannot, like, there's very specific ways that you need to build these things.
Yeah, and in addition to that, each symbol has their own way of scoring.
Yes.
So, for example, for this house, you draw it unfilled, just like the outlines.
Yeah.
And then when you have 4 or more different symbols around the house, you get to fill it in. And you only get points for the filled in symbols.
So there is like layers of things you want to do. You want to place your things so that they get filled. You want to place your things so they work with this. You want to try to deny your opponents to do the best they can. And you want to try to unlock these special abilities. So there's like, this feels, especially the first time you play, like a pretty complicated and right game.
Yeah, like I think it's just because there's so much information to take in the first time, but already from the second play, I felt it was much more comprehensible and not that complicated that it felt like the first time.
Yeah, so who do you think is going to like this game?
I think if you like roll and writes or like
And
blank
writes,
and
yeah.
writes, especially I like games with this draft instead of like the roll of the die, with like a little more meat, a little more variety.
Yeah, I think that there is this is on the heavier side of the roll and writes that we have
Yeah,
played.
because like the roll and write genre is pretty light.
Yeah, I would also say like this is gonna be like a bit overwhelming the first time you play, but then it's gonna be better, especially for me. I liked it way better the second time I played it. If you don't like Android games, I don't think this is gonna be like wow, revolutionary, changing your view on that. But if you backed any of the other games, I know myself, if it was €9, I would just click that button because I'm horrible.
It's a really good
It's a
price
good
point.
price, yeah.
And I would say like the most unique thing about this game is that you have this. That's you. You can't, even though you have a symbol up here already, you don't automatically get to draw there. And also, if you move from, for example, you have harbors that you can move between, then you suddenly can draw somewhere that you don't have anything from before. So that this movement part feels pretty unique to me.
Absolutely. We cannot, as always, tell you what to spend your money on. That's all up to you. But if this looks interesting, you can check it out, especially if you backed any of the other games. Hope this was an interesting video. Subscribe to the channel because you can and you should. And that's the end. Thank you for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.